Thank you for joining me today. Sorry, things are going to be a little weird trying to figure out a good setup for doing this one. Got some bad glare here I'm going to have to work on. So this is going to be a playthrough of Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North. This will be the solo playthrough. I kind of played a solo of it. This is going to be like my first full through on it. I am going to do Winter is Coming. And I will show I'll show it all right here. So the only big differences are going to be is with the solo means I have to make sure I score at least 30 points. And that's just so that I can win. And then the setup difference is I get to get 3 more extra food with my other starting resources. And then I can spend at any time I can spend 2 people to gain 1 fish. I can do it as many times as I want to. I also have access to a building here where I can spend a stone, a food, and a fish to gain 4 victory points. But at the end of the game, for every person I have, whether they're assigned to a card or off to the side, I have to pay 1 food or fish before I score. For each one I can't feed, I lose 3 victory points. And then for the scenario events, there are 5 different ones. Normally you're supposed to use these and randomly draw them. I'm just going to use this as a turn marker because you only get 4 turns to play the solo. What I'm actually going to do is just roll a dice. Alright. So for starting out on the setup, I start with a forest, which is for 2 wood. Start with a grassland for 2 sheep. And I start with a bay, which provides me with fish. Please bear with me. It's my first time to try the green screen thing to where I can show you all the card without having to bring it up to the camera. So it may be a little squirrely as I do it this first time. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and reveal these 2. I'm going to put them on this camera and then I'll put them out here. So these are the islands that are available. The Fragmented Glacier and the Arabian coast. Those are the nearby islands. The distant islands are going to be Gulliver Island and Dodo Paradise, which I believe is a promo. Actually, I think both of the distant ones are promos. Okay, so I have my 5 starting people here. I'm going to go ahead and move them right here. My 5 starting people over here. Let me go ahead and get my 2 wood and my 2 sheep and my 1 fish. And then I draw 5 cards. I will show I'm drawing Yarn's Tavern, Festival Preparations, Local Brewery, the After Party, and Drinking Competition. So the way this works, just like the other one, I get to pick 3 of these to start with. As much as I like Drinking Competitions, I think I'm going to discard that one. And then either assign 1 to unexhaust. So that's what this clan's all about. This clan's all about assigning. So they, sorry, like I said, it's going to take me some getting used to not bring it to the camera. Instead, just put it on here. So they're all about assigning, and then you got to find ways to remove them off of them once you assign them. Since that's what they're kind of about, I think I'm going to go ahead and take this one, plus it's easy to build, and discard this other one. Alright, that is my starting hand. For my starting hand, I decided to go with the brewery, festival preparations, and the after party. Alright. So that's my starting hand. Oh. I actually did not randomize these. Let me randomize these. And to show y'all what this board looks like, I don't think this might be a little bit too big, but This is what it's going to look like for my play. All right, let's get started with this on turn 1. First thing I do is I draw 4 cards. So I'm drawing a Sacred Obelisk, Festival Preparations, and another Festival Preparations, and Einar's Forge. I'm going to take all 4. Why not? So there's my 4 to keep all 4 cards. And let's get going. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is... Actually, I almost forgot. In the solo game, we got to see what the random event is. The event is, since I rolled an 8, is Cold, which is discard 1 card from my hand if possible. Well, I was saying that 1 was kind of be cool to keep, but I'll go ahead and discard that one. Alright, so the one I discarded was the Sacred Obelisk. Right off the bat, going to go with, I don't have anything to unexhaust in my empire. I'm going to build After Party. So go ahead and build the After Party, pay my 1 wood, and there's the After Party. Let me use my first, I guess he should be over here. Use my first action marker to explore. So I do that. Play my card, because you play these cards right when you do a boost, basically. So I'm boosting this. Boosting lets me build this. So since I've done the explore, I'm building, which gives me this, which instantly gives me the 2 food. And then now I do the explore action, which is draw a card, which gave me another one of the Sacred Obelisks that I just discarded. Oh, I guess I can show y'all. Sacred Obelisk, which I just discarded. We're going to pay the food action, or the food, to move my token 1 over, which means it X's out, which is the sell action. Because I've done the sell action, I get to put this out. So I'm going to put that here, which gives me a raid token. And now I get to do the sell action, so I'm going to put a boat here. And I am going to put that on there so that I can get one of these. Now let's decide if I want to go to a distant one or not. So if I go with the Fragmented Glacier, I get to spend a dude to gain that stone, which I do kind of need. Also when I gain it, I get the stone, so that'll let me do the obelisk that I need. So that might be cool, and if I need stone in the future. Or spend 1 gold to gain 2 resources. I don't really have a way to get gold, so I don't care about that. But do I want the distant ones? The Dodo one, Dodo Paradise, just has a good building bonus. They don't have anything else. The building bonus is I could choose 1 card type, gain 1 victory point for each card of that type in my empire. So I could gain 5 right there, which would get me way past my threshold. But I'm not going to worry about getting to my threshold at the moment. Actions, spend 1 resource to gain 2 resources of the same type. I do believe I will be using a fish to go to Gulliver Island. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so we're going to do Harvest as my action. I'm going to boost the Harvest. So the first thing I get to do is gain 1 resource from 2 different of my fields. I'm going to take the fish back because I need the fish. I'm going to do the raid token just in case something cool comes down later. And then for my actual harvest action, I'll do the local brewery and get my 2 food. And then I will spend 1 of the food to flip over to that and construct for free, where I'm going to construct the Sacred Obelisk. Because why not? So I'll put that out over here. I'm going to spend 2 either fish, food, or stone in any combination. So I'm going to go a fish and a food. Tap that to gain. So what it does, I spend that to gain 2 victory points. and get to release one. I don't have anyone to release, so doesn't matter. So I think I'm done for the turn, actually. I am. So I'm done. So we get all of our workers back. Oh, no. Sorry. I was skipping this. Let's go to exploration. Exploration, we already decided. I want to get this Gulliver Island. So I want to get the Gulliver Island. So I can go to the distant because I got the fish. And I have the raid token so I can conquer it. For conquering it, I get 1 gold. And then now this gets to be an island in my play area, which I'm just going to move this just slightly a little bit. Don't really be able to see my victory points, but in later turns during the action phases, I can spend 1 resource to get 2 of the same type, so I can double my resources. So now we go to cleanup. I get my guys back. These come back over here. These untap. It's revealed new islands. So we got Bermuda Triangle. And we have Erupting Volcano. Alright. Then we have 2 distant ones. Sheepland and Fairy Island. Alright. I draw my 4 cards. Oh, I forgot to do something. Like I said, probably gonna make a lot of these little mini mistakes, but I think I'm kind of remembering them. Since it's a solo game, well, like I said, we're going to round 2, but because my markers were on construct and sail, they actually flip over, and now they're actually more expensive to do. Now, if my things weren't on those at the end of the turn, or in a future turn, if they aren't on them, then what will happen is they will flip back over and become cheaper to do. But if I decide I want to use them this turn, it costs me extra resources in order to do them. Alright, let's see. I got a drinking competition. I got a friendly giant. And I got a welcome party. Choose one of my ships on the expedition board and immediately resolve 1 pillage or conquer of a nearby island. That's pretty cool because it lets me get the resource or get the thing immediately. The giant's really good because it lets me do that assign action like I want to do, and then I can release them. And it gets me victory points and more raid tokens. And then move your clan action pawn to any action tile. Additionally, I like drinking competition, so it's probably going to happen for sure. And then new pasture. Basically, this makes it where I can get a sheep for add it onto one of my fields. Well, once again, don't really need a lot of people, so I think I'm just going to take everything but welcome party. So I'm going to discard welcome party. I'm taking 3 cards, so it takes me 3 of my peoples. Alright, and then we move to the event 4, so it's going to be event number 2. So event number 2 is I may spend 1 fish or food to gain 2 gold. Gold can be used as anything, so I guess it's just like doubling up. So yeah, I'll turn that into 2 gold. Sorry I'm not playing with my fancy resources. Decided to do this at the last second. Alright, here we go. Let's go ahead and start doing stuff. Well, let's do the stuff that's easiest. So we're going to build Friendly Giant. It takes 1 of my wood to build a Friendly Giant. He's a friendly one. Sorry, I'm going to try to make some room here by stacking things. And we'll build Friendly Giant. I guess let's go ahead and... Fish aren't super important. for me at the moment, at least. So I'm going to switch this around just to keep the board a little cleaner. And get that a little bit more on camera because of what I'm about to do. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and choose the harvest action. I'm going to play New Pasture and add it to my local brewery. So now if I choose that during harvest, I get 2 food and a sheep. Because I added that, I do get a sheep. And then for my harvest action, I will choose the local brewery, so I will get 2 food and a sheep. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this. I'm going to assign a worker to the friendly giant. What he does is that you assign a worker and you spend 1 resource, or a fish actually it says. I'm going to use the gold as a fish. Tap him, because that's what happens when you use an action. And I get to gain 2 victory points and a raid. I'm going to, I can spend, with Sacred Obelisk, I can spend 2 fish, food, or in any combination. I'm going to spend this 2 food to gain 2. And it lets me release a worker. Alright. I'm going to do the after party, which says I can assign a worker there to unexhaust another thing in my area. So I'll go ahead and do the friendly giant. I'm going to explore. So I'm going to draw 1 card. One of my actions, and the one I drew was Homestead. So I get to assign 1 person to gain 1 resource, one victory point and 1 resource from 2 different spots. So kind of what I've been doing with that boost. Let's do it. I don't care. Let's do it. All right, so I'm going to the construct action. Unfortunately, the construct action makes me spend a food to move it, and the construct action is expensive, so it takes me a stone to do it. So I'm going to construct, and I'm going to construct that homestead. So I construct that homestead. I am going to assign a person there to gain 1 victory point. And then I get 1 resource from 2 different spots. So I'm going to take the fish. Yeah, I'm going to take the fish. And I'm going to take a apple. We're going to spend 1 resource to gain 2 resources. That's what Gulliver Island lets me do. So we'll actually turn this fish into 2 fish. Well, it's 2 of the same type. Yeah. All right. Now we'll go ahead and spend that to sell. And I just gotta decide what I want to, and most likely do want to conquer. Is there any reason not to? Just deciding, do I do Bermuda Triangle, which lets me spend stone to unexhaust? I don't have stone. Spend any 2 resources to gain 1 victory point and choose 1 opponent to lose 1. I don't have opponents, so don't care about that. So I'm seeing if I want to put the fish on there. This one lets me spend 1 to harvest, or spend 1 food to harvest. That could be pretty good because that could let me turn 1 food into any resource I might need where I was restricted last time. Or spend 1 person to unexhaust 1 in my empire. Yep, I think I'm going to definitely go Distant Island, so I'm going to put that fish on there. I'm done. So we move to the Explorer action, and I'm going to go ahead and take... Alright, so I'm going to take Fairy Island, add it to my empire. Because I got it, I get a food, and I get a wood as a building bonus. And then these go away. Ship goes away. And now we go to cleanup, where I get my dudes back. I do not get these, they are assigned, but I do unexhaust these. Need to start removing them, which I only have 1 thing that releases them right now. got rid of my other things. Need to fix that. All right. So I do that, and we get rid of these. Show new ones. We'll do distant ones first this time. We have turtleback, and we have beauty nays, and then we have Flying Dutchman, and we have Holy Land. All right. And then these come back to me, and since they were on spots, those do not become cheaper, but nothing else is going to change. This will change to, we're going to round 3. We go to round 3 where I'm going to draw Homestead and Asmon's End. So I can assign one to gain 1 and 1 resource from 2 different. That's pretty cool. That's one I already have, the Homestead. Spend 1 sheep to gain. I do have all these sheep, so that's probably one I'm going to keep. Let's look and see what else I got. I got another Asmon's Inn. Once again, use those sheep. Alright, let's make this decision. I just don't think I'm going to be able to get that stone. That'd be cool. I just don't think I'm going to take that one. I'm just going to take one of the sheep. I'm not going to get greedy. Alright, so it's only going to take me 2. I kept 2 cards. Let's see what happens. The random event is number 1 is what that is, because it's like a rose. Number 1 is Frostbite. Spend 1 dude. I'm glad I didn't. Something told me not to use up all of them. Alright. Let's do this actually. I'm gonna... Oh my goodness, if I could pick it up. I'm gonna use Gulliver Island to turn this 1 wood into 2 wood. So, and let's use that 2 wood to build a second homestead. So I'll just put it underneath this first one. All right. All right. Well, actually, so I'm going to use one of my things. I'm going to populate. All my boosts are to harvest, so I'm going to populate, which gives me a dude. And then I'm going to assign him to this second homestead. Sorry, it's a little off camera. But I'm assign him to this second homestead. So I need to tap the second homestead to gain a victory point and 1 resource from 2 different spots. So let me get my victory point. And then what I want, well, I need another wood to build my other thing. So I'm going to take a wood. I'm going to take a fish. Let's play this smart. I'm going to take a fish. So fish for my bay and a wood for my forest. And then I am going to, let's go ahead and use the wood to build Asmon's Inn, which is an action. And I'm going to go ahead and tap it. I'm just going to make a pile of ones I'm tapping. How about that? That'll make it a lot cleaner over here. So Asmon's Inn is tapped. Homestead is tapped with an assigned worker on it. And I still got Fairy Island over here. Alright. Oh, Asmon's Inn was I could spend a sheep to get a victory point. So spend a sheep, get a victory point. I'm a third of the way there. Alright, we're going to go ahead and use Fairy Island, which allows me to spend a food to harvest. So I'm putting in the tap pile. Because I am harvesting, I I am going to play drinking competition, which lets me move my clan action pawn to any action tile. Now, in the case of this, it means I get to move this anywhere, but I still continue doing the harvesting action. I'm actually going to move it here, because then I can use a food to harvest again or explore and draw a card. So I'm going to move that, and then it lets me release 3 workers. Oh, guess I should have taken it off camera so y'all could have seen. But yeah, so I place it there and then remove 3 workers. My 3 of my assigned workers were removed. Now I continue to do the harvest action that was triggered by the Fairy Island. So for the harvest action, I'm going to choose my local brewery because it gives me 2 food and a sheep. Okay. Let's go ahead and start assigning workers again, I guess. So we're going to assign a worker to the homestead, which gains me a victory point and lets me choose 2 resources to get, so I'll get a fish. And I have to choose a different one. I got enough sheep. I may need wood for future stuff, but I consider for harvest action, so I'm going to take more food because I am going to have to pay food for my workers later. Alright. So they can spend 2 fish, 2 food, or 2 stone in any combination. So I'm going to use a food and a fish. Food and a food because I can harvest. So a food and a food. And that gives me 2 victory points. And then releases one of my workers. I'm going to assign a worker here and spend a fish, which gives me 2 victory points and a raid. So friendly giant. And then let's go ahead and harvest. I will use festival preparations as a boost, so I gain 1 resource from 2 different fields. So I will take a fish and I will take a food, and now I complete my harvest action, which will give myself 2 food and a sheep. Alright. Sorry, I guess I could just added all these to the tap thing. This lets me unexhaust any one of these. I have a lot of extra stuff, so yeah, we're gonna assign guy here to tap this to unexhaust my sacred obelisk. So that becomes untapped, and then I can spend 2 food to tap my sacred obelisk to gain 2 victory points and release a worker. We'll release them off the friendly giant. Let's use this food to assign this here, which will let me harvest. I will boost the harvest, gaining 1 resource from 2 different spots. So I'll take the fish and I'll take the food, and then now I complete my harvest where I'll choose the local brewery, which gives me 2 food and a sheep. A lot of sheep. I don't know what to do with all them sheep. So I think I will spend a food to put this here to populate, which gives me another dude. And I think that's going to be the end of the round 3. So there was no exploring needs to be done, so these just go away. And we'll move to the last turn. First distant is Abandoned Granary and Jurassic Island. And then the Witch Island and Occult Grounds. Sorry, usually this game's a little bit faster, but I guess it's my first time doing solo. I know they don't recommend you do stuff like that till you played it a lot more, but it is taking me a little bit as I'm learning how these guys kind of work. Asmon's in. We'll put these here, so it's gonna be a little messy, and we'll clean it up as we go. Untapping everything. Yeah, some things will be off camera. All right. Untap all that. All right. So I take these back because I did that. Now harvest is more expensive for me to do. Oh, good thing I got all those sheep. And populate is more expensive to do, but sailing and construction is cheaper for me to do now. And we move on to turn 4. And just to let y'all know, I'm at 16 points. So, you know what? I'm just going to take this off camera so we can save for space, since it's not showing the points anyways. And that way y'all can see everything that's going on, really. Alright. Alright. So we move to the last turn. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a coming of age ceremony and a market. I can spend sheep to get gold and release a dude. That seems pretty good right now. Each time I populate, well, that would have been great earlier. Don't know if I'll be populating much more, especially since it's more expensive and we're on the last turn. Asmon's in, which is really good because of all those sheep. And then spend 1 to get to sell, additionally get to release. Oh, that is amazing. That is definitely, and it's a rare. Well, the other one was a rare too, so the odds of getting it. All right. Well, like I said, I think the populate is too late at this point, so we will not be taking that one. I mean, it does possibly let me sell once, maybe twice if I untap things. Another way to release. I think I keep all of these. So 1, 2, 3. All right, last random. Oh, I didn't roll that off camera. Is a 10. So what is number 5? Is spend 1 sheep or exhaust 1 field location. Unexhausted during cleanup phase. Well, oh, I forgot about these buildings I could have been using. I needed those fish. What was I thinking? Oh, but stone for the buried pantry. Eh. Okay. Well, I'll spend the sheep. I have the sheep. I mean, I could tap the field. Ain't like I'm using my grassland. Or exhaust 1 field location. Yeah. I'll just tap the grassland. I don't care. Ain't like I'm using it. Alright. We go into it. Let's do this. Oh, I didn't think, so I got so excited about seeing what these do, but I didn't think about what I'm actually going to need in order to pull all that off. So we're going to go ahead and use the Fairy Island right off the bat. To spend 1 food to do a harvest. We're going to harvest for 2 wood. And then we're going to use Gulliver Island to spend 1 resource to turn it into 2 resources so that we double our wood. Yeah, because I'm betting I was supposed to be paying... Well, it was free last time. So I actually didn't mess that up. I think I'll make sure I do that. So I think I have to pay a sheep in order to do that. If not, it just busts my points. But I'm pretty sure, even though this is a harvest, it's still a harvest just without using the pawn. So I still have to pay the sheep to harvest. Alright. So now that I have all this wood, Let's spend 2 wood to build that market. Well, I got 1 I can release, so let's go ahead and use the market. It says spend a sheep to gain a gold and release a duder. There we go. Go ahead and just assign a dude to the homestead to gain 1 victory point and 1 resource from 2 different things, and that's where I'll get my other wood, and I will take another food. Alright, so I assigned him. Let's spend 2 wood to build that Skinny's port. And we will tap Skinny's port to spend 1 person and 1 sheep to sail. And I will put this. Now it's got to make that decision. We're going to assign another dude to the other homestead. We'll do it like this, which gives me another victory point, going to 18, and gain 1 resource from 2 different spots. So I'll get the wood, and I'll take another food. I'll use the wood to build the Asmon's Inn. Alright, I'll go ahead and use that. I'll spend 1 sheep to gain 1 victory point. Put me at 19. And I haven't used my actions yet. I'll spend the other Asmon's Inn, do a sheep for victory point, put me at 20. This is why I decided I didn't want to really do that harvest, because kind of just doing things for victory points now. I might as well explore. So let's draw a card, which I drew Northern Festival. I can assign 2 to gain 2. Building bonus, I mean, really turning 2 resources into 1 victory point, which is worth 1 victory point anyways at the end. So I don't think I'm actually gonna build this. Alright, we need to start releasing some of these workers. So let's spend 2 resources in any combination. We'll go 2 food in any combination to gain 2 victory points. Put me at 22. We get to release 1. I didn't realize, didn't I have a lot more ways to release workers? I guess not. Yep, see one way to do it. So we're gonna assign someone to the after party, which lets me unexhaust any one from my empire. We'll unexhaust Skinny's port, and then we will exhaust it, spend 1 worker, 1 sheep to sail. Might as well conquer. I got the raid token. It lets me release a worker. I need to make sure I'm going to have enough food here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to have 7 food. Here's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I take both of these, that'll fill my food niche because of the building bonuses. Like I can just, why not? Construct for free. It gives me another victory point for that Northern Festival. So yep. So we go to the Explore. We get the Abandoned Granary and need Jurassic Island to add to our stuff. It gives me a fish and a wood. It gives me a fish and a stone. And then we move to the end where this all comes off. And this comes off. These flip over. I mean, it don't really matter. We're not going to another round. I'm just doing everything. Why not? All right, let's score it up. I'm going to move this over here while I'm scoring it up. All right, so as you can see, I'm at 22 right now. So first things first, it says before I figure out anything, I have to feed all my people. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was part of the scenario for winter is coming. Basically, you're storing up food to make sure you can feed your people over the winter. So I have to have 7 food, 1, 2, food or fish, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so I fed all my people. Now we can move on to scoring. I get a victory point for each card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 22 goes to 42. And then 1 for every 2 resources, and then 1 for the gold. So my final score is 44. Threshold was 30. I win. Seems pretty simple. I'll do it with all 5 other factions, maybe on camera if I get around to it. If not, this will be a trial with that green screen, so I hope it turned out well. We'll see when I do the editing. Other than that, I thank you for joining me, and have a great day.